Lucy was driving on the highway, planning to light a cigarette, but the moment she reached into the suitcase, her clothes and shoes instantly flew out. She chose not to stop. It was this high heel that caused the accident. Not long after, the sky began to pour rain. Jack and his family of 3, while passing through this stretch of road, suddenly had a flat tire. Fortunately, the men calmly stopped the car by the side of the road. Jack got out to check, only to discover that the tire had been punctured by a high heel. As night approached, Jack had to change the spare tire himself, while his wife Annie kindly comforted him from the side. At that moment, their son knocked on the car window. Annie noticed and walked over to interact with him. Little did she know, the boy's actions almost cost her life. Seeing her son step back, Annie instinctively mimicked his movement. In the next second, she realized that his wife had been knocked out by a car. Jack rushed over to check her condition. He found her breathing faint. The driver of the car was named John, a personal driver for a female celebrity. A second before the accident, the celebrity's phone suddenly ran out of battery, and she asked John to get her spare battery. But in that moment, John ignored the celebrity's objections and resolutely got out of the car to assist the injured. He asked the celebrity for her phone to call the police, but she refused to open the door. John had no choice but to pick up an iron rod and smash the car window. He grabbed the celebrity's phone, but discovered that there was no signal. Just minutes earlier, the heavy rain had washed away the road surface. Lucy had intended to turn around, but accidentally damaged the telephone line, which caused the signal outage. Afterward, John took the injured to a motel. Nick, holding his nearly breathless wife, begged the owner for help. The owner quickly dialed a number, only to find there was no signal. He told John that there was a hospital to the east and suggested they head in that direction. After making sure Jack's family was settled, John forcibly pulled the celebrity out of the car, then set off for the hospital alone to seek help. On the way, he encountered Lucy, whose car was being repaired. Upon learning that John was heading to the hospital to the east, Lucy explained that the road ahead was blocked, but John, in order to save a life, decided to risk going ahead. As expected, the car soon got stuck in the mud. Fortunately, John was a lucky man. A car was approaching them. It was a couple, clearly in love. When they saw John's desperate plea for help, the man coldly refused. But when he saw Lucy's well-shaped figure, his attitude immediately became much more flattering. His wife, Nia, noticed his change in behavior. Meanwhile, at the motel, the owner checked in the celebrity. She insisted on the best room, even adding an extra $100. Looking at the wallet stuffed with cash, the owner's expression couldn't hide his joy. He gave her room 8, with the roads on both sides blocked. John's group had no choice but to return to the motel temporarily. During check-in, Mia noticed a magazine. Her husband, however, was secretly staring at Annie. The owner treated Annie unfavorably because he despised the profession of prostitutes. Eventually, Annie was assigned to room 7, while the Antonis couple checked into room 6. At this moment, John noticed a police car driving into the motel. The driver claimed to be a police officer's, stuck here due to the heavy rain while transporting a prisoner. John tried to get the officers to call for help, but the walkie-talkie couldn't reach outside. The officers and the prisoner were then taken to room 10, where the prisoner was locked in the bathroom. Meanwhile, the injured Lucy needed surgery immediately. John hurriedly found tools and treated her wounds. After securing the prisoner, the officers came to check on Lucy's condition. Luckily, John had already managed to treat her wound. As the rain grew heavier, the atmosphere in the motel became increasingly eerie. John returned to his room and took to pills. Nick, staring at his unconscious wife, muttered to himself. The owner secretly hid some items in a drawer, and he opened her suitcase to check if her money was still there. As newlyweds, Anthony and his wife slept in separate beds. Even the police officer's uniform had inexplicable bloodstains, and the celebrity was complaining about the hotel's poor environment.